Pretty crazy today when I go out. I might even that up before I'm through. Alright, now here's the really cool thing. First of all, there is a lot of fallout. So I'm going to use this Morphe dual-ended brush. This is doesn't have a number on it. There's a good bit of little powder that ended up on my nose. So I'm going to just flick that off. You can also use a fan brush, y'all. You don't have to have dual-ended. They are a little more expensive, and fan brushes are everywhere. You just need something that's got a flexible tip end, so that you, instead of rubbing in, you're literally flicking things off. You're flicking off this, where this fell out. On the inner crux of your nose, it often is, and then right under your eye. And if you've got a huge upper lip, make sure you do that too. Oh. That's just a boo-boo. Okay. What I mean by dual fiber brush, or dual, you'll notice it's real dense at the bottom, that darker color, and then it's the lighter color comes up through there, and they are much less dense and more flexible. So what that does is that kind of holds the bottom to be kind of stiff, but the top bends, and so it just flicks things real easily. This I've used so much without cleaning. I need to clean my brushes, y'all. Do y'all want me to do a video of how to clean your brushes? Comment below. Okay. Now we're going to use a blending brush. Always make sure it's good and cleaned off from the last time you used a blender. This should have nothing on it, or you can sometimes use one of your lighter transition colors if it's like almost the same as your highlighter color if it's matte. But you're mainly just getting rid of a line. See how I'm just getting rid of a line? That's all you want to do. You don't want to over blend. That's the whole point of why you put the colors on. But you don't want a line either. Back here, you don't want some sharp line. Unless that's an edgy look you like. I also use the back part of my hand to kind of blend that out lightly. Just, you know, so there's no line color there. Some people actually put a little piece of tape there because they want a line unblended. It's a very edgy look if you like that. Right here, between transition and highlight, is where you're going to get rid of your transition line. And again, I'm just going to make sure that's gone. So it's a very blended look. Blendy blend. And look what I have here today. It's the makeup towel. I'm so happy. We'll just put it over here. I actually remembered to bring it in here. And you need a towel versus tissues because you need some place to wipe off the tip ends of your brushes. Just so you know, I'm just doing that just to knock off any additional powder and put it back until I can actually wash my brushes. And that's going to go for all of these. Y'all, that candle smells so good. It smells like Thanksgiving in here. You know, that pumpkin-y smell. It's just so nice. I love it. But I have to usually do it when my husband's not home because it bothers his lungs. And by the time he gets home, it'll be dissipated because he's more important than a nice smell. He smells nice. Okay. I forgot to do this. We got to do under the eye. So here you would use your crease color. And I don't think it's going to be enough. But we'll try it because you may use this. Let's see. Always wet it. And don't ever share your makeup if you wet it like I do with spit. You shouldn't share your makeup anyway. Ever. If somebody wants makeup, even dollar store has makeup, go get them some. Don't share your makeup because that is your skin cells and your, in my case, spit. Okay, so that did just fine. See how I literally go through, this is where I go through the lashes. Not under them, I go through them to give myself a line. Okay, let's see over here. It's the black, so that I need very little of that. I'm going to even tap that off. Very little of this to try to even these two eyes out. Right through the lashes. Do you see the lashes bending? Because all you're doing is putting a lash line. It's about the same. This does look a little cooler than this. But do you see how you've got a very expensive palette and you've got a fairly cheap palette, and they're doing the same thing for you just because these are basic warm colors for a smoky eye. Smoky eye means it's darker at the bottom, just like smoke, and as it goes up, the shade gets lighter and lighter and lighter. And so it doesn't, smoky eye doesn't mean the color smoke. That's where people get totally confused. You can have a smoke color, which is more the black, dark gray, light gray, or you can have smoky brown, which is probably the most common, which is what I just did, where you have a darker brown, a lighter brown, and then highlight. But you can have blues, where it's darker blue, medium blue, light blue. You can have greens, you can have purples, you can have pinks, bronzes, oranges, any color in the rainbow that you make up. Also, depending on, be careful of using black, but you can also use, sorry, I almost looked into that and it doesn't have a mirror. You can also use leftover to go through and just kind of reinforce your brow. You don't have to have a brow liner pencil. You can just kind of, right where your hairs are, just kind of now I've already penciled mine, to be honest. But you can still reinforce them with powder, and it probably looks a lot more natural, to be honest. So that's what I like to do with my smudger brush. Now, why do I use a smudger brush? This way, obviously, it's wide. This way, it's very, very tiny. Do you see that? Almost like if you used one of these, the pencil brush. On the pencil brush it's dense, but it's not nearly as tightly packed as a smudger or short shader is what this is called. And you can see it's more brushed. So this is a little tighter, and it's going to give you a little more resistance, which is what you want to line with. Just like one of these. This is a Morphe M432, and some people will use that and just kind of, either whether it's on the lash line or underneath, that's what they use. I think that's from the Jaclyn Hill collection. This is from the IT Cosmetics, and it's just a liner brow. You can use this to line under or in your brow, and that is they're usually very stiff. You usually do want to wet them with something, whether it is, in my case, spit, or if you want to use like MAC Plus, or water doesn't work quite as well. I mean, it's just like your spit, it gets it wet at least, so it'll stick a little bit, but sometimes it's better to use some sort of a face spray or something like that. Anyway, all right, so I've done that. Now what I wanted to do was a little bit of blush with this color, and so I just make sure there's no browns on it. This eyelid color, this would be a great one to keep in your purse. Two reasons why. For one thing, it's not that expensive, so if it cracks up in there, at least it'll all be inside this and won't get out in your purse. But you haven't lost a lot, whereas if this cracks up in my purse, that was a really expensive palette. Also, this has a pink color in it, which I could double for blush. So let's see, how does it do doubling for blush? And, I always have a little mini size makeup brushes. You can get that at the drugstore. So let's just see, how does this do as a blush? Well, it does just fine. That looks just fine. See, and I actually have one that's even smaller in my purse. The head of it isn't this long thing. It's only about that long, and it's probably about half that thickness, and that would be perfect. But into this palette, this is kind of large for this palette, but I still can just press it in there, the edge. See, I've got enough. And just lightly, I'm barely putting any pressure on. Round it out, right here on the cheeky, and then back up there. Round it out. Did I round it out on this? I don't think I did. And then up. Then a little on the bridge of your nose, a little under your nose, and a little under your chin, and on the bulbous part of your chin and your temple. All it does is just deposit a little bit of color to bring light to here. And then this, the only reason I do the bridge of my nose is I have a very large nose, one thing, so I want to break it up. And underneath, same thing. Also, it kind of looks like you got some sun. Now, if you really want to look like you've been out in the sun, you don't leave this white. But you also don't use the whole thing. You literally come across the bridge of the nose, down there, and stop about right there. And you do it very, very lightly with a very pink color, so it looks like you got sun that day. So no bronzy color. Okay, so that's the difference in this Wet n Wild number 359, Sweet as Candy. Again, you could order that online if it's not in your drugstore. Because, like, some of my drugstores don't carry Wet n Wild and other ones do. Or is it the grocery store that does it? I can't remember. And then, if you just want to splurge, this is a really beautiful palette. I feel like it did really well, too. I do think I probably need to even that up, y'all. Since I am going to be out later. I will put a little bit of the black in this corner so it kind of cools it out a little bit. Since that was mostly brown. And I think it worked just fine. The transition colors are so similar, y'all. I think that looks fine. I'm having a good time today, can y'all tell? Alright, so now I need to put back in here all my little if I did put that in the car, but I just said that I wasn't ever going to do that. Didn't I? Didn't I say that? I think I did. I think it's going to stay right here, and this is going to go in my purse or car, so that if I ever forget to do my makeup in the morning, which if that ever does happen, y'all, call an ambulance, because that means I have lost my little mind. Here's one other one. This has got a little more gold tones, but this is the Revlon. You see me do this one many, many times. As you can see, this is Revlon Color Stay number 555, and it is called Moonlit. But this has got more gold to it, but they're similar. And what I like about this, again, is that it's got a pink in there. If you can ever get a quad that includes a pink, you got it made. Because then, why is that not going back? Oh, well, we'll just, I don't know. And here's another one. Hold on, let me show you this. I think this is from Too Faced. Limited edition, so I don't even know if it's still out. This is their little doggy. And what do you got again? Same thing. Do you see how there's a pink in there? And that pink can be your blush. That's all I'm saying. Is if you find a quad, or when it's got 5 colors, and if there's a pink in there with it, that you can just have a little tiny brush that you can use, you know, just like that. A tiny brush that you can use that to do your blush as well. So, it's just a thought, y'all. It's just a thought. I'm going to put that in the back. There, now it all fits. Now it all fits. Y'all, I've got so much makeup, it's pathetic. If y'all ever said, please do a comprehensive makeup collection, it would take 20 parts and several hours. It's sad. I think it's even sinful. I have way too much. Like, it looks like a greed level, but it's not really greed, y'all. It's just, I have such an interest in that when I don't even need any, I go get more. So, I'm working on using palettes that I have, which is what I did today. So my next video, I'm going to do a haul from Bacasa. And I love you guys so much. And I'll see you again soon.